In the fascinating world of horology, where precision engineering and timeless elegance converge, luxury watches hold a special place. Whether you're an avid watch collector or simply appreciate the craftsmanship of a well-made timepiece, caring for your beloved luxury watch collection is paramount. While these masterpieces are designed to withstand the test of time, there are certain watch care tips every enthusiast should be aware of to avoid common mistakes that may inadvertently harm their cherished timekeeping companions. Welcome to another episode of The Steady Taker. Do you have a soft spot for watches? Subscribe now to The Steady Taker and click on the notification bell to keep posted on the latest news of different luxury watch brands and its industries. We create content and trivias, intricacies, history and anything under the weather about luxury watch brands and their models. In this video, we'll bring attention to 6 often disregarded facets of watch care that have the potential to compromise the durability and functionality of your luxury watches. Number 1. Oftenly, people activate complications of their watches inappropriately. The activation of complications at the wrong time is a common issue that can cause damage to your watch mechanism. The danger zone between 8 or 9 p.m. and 3 to 4 p.m. is a critical period where certain complications should not be activated, such as the date display. This is because many watches, especially entry-level movements and more complex mechanisms, have a gradual shift in their date display rather than an instant change. Forcing the date to change during this period can result in damage to the teeth and other components, leading to complications. It is advisable to check the time before setting the date to avoid damage to the date complication. This is a particularly important point for new watch enthusiasts who may not be familiar with potential harm that can be caused by activating complications at the wrong time. In addition, it's crucial to be cautious when adjusting perpetual calendars or annual calendars. Many watches have built-in features or indicators that warn against adjusting the perpetual indicators during specific periods. For instance, the JLT Master Ultra Thin has an indicator near the hands that signals whether it's safe to change the indicators. More advanced watches, such as those from Lang, may require the crown to be pulled out before engaging a pusher, and an AM/PM indicator may be used to indicate the appropriate time to operate the pusher. Therefore, it's essential to be aware of the proper operating procedures for your watches and other complications to avoid any potential damage. Number 2. Another common thing that people do to their watches that actually harms its overall condition is shock exposure. To elaborate further, shock is a common factor that can impact the accuracy and performance of a mechanical watch. When a watch is exposed to shock, the balance wheel and hairspring can be thrown out of their optimal range of motion, which can cause inaccuracies in the timekeeping function. This is because the balance wheel and hairspring work together to keep the watch running at a consistent rate. While most modern mechanical watches are designed to be shock resistant to some degree, it's important to note that this resistance is not unlimited. For instance, if the shock is significant enough, it can cause damage to the watch's movement that may be difficult to repair. In some cases, the damage may be irreversible, which can lead to a complete loss of timekeeping ability. Watchmakers take several steps to minimize the impact of shock on a watch. One common technique is to use shock absorbers that are built into the movement. These absorbers help to minimize the force of the shock and protect the more delicate components of the watch. However, it's important to note that these absorbers have limits, and if the shock is too severe, they may not be enough to prevent damage. In addition to shock absorbers, some watches use Inca blocker systems or swan neck regulators to keep the balance jewel in the same position. These features can help to ensure that the watch remains accurate and performs well even when subjected to shock. Number 3. Exposure to magnetic fields is also a common practice that's not good for watches. Magnetic fields can pose a serious threat to the accuracy and functioning of a watch, and it's important to understand why many watch brands prioritize magnetic resistance in their products. This is not meant to alarm anyone, but rather to raise awareness about the potential harm that magnetic fields can cause to the watch's balance wheel and hairspring. If the hairspring is not made of materials like silicon, it can expand and disrupt the balance wheel's oscillation, which is crucial for maintaining accurate timekeeping. To combat this problem, many watch manufacturers now use different hairspring materials that improve the resistance to magnetism. However, even with these improvements, a watch can still become magnetized, which can lead to the coils of the hairspring being attracted to each other or sticking together, causing the watch to gain time or stop altogether. If you notice that your watch is running off or has stopped without any major shock, it may have become magnetized. Fortunately, there are inexpensive tools like a degausser that can help to correct this issue easily. It's important to keep in mind that we're surrounded by various electrical devices that emit magnetic fields, such as speakers, microwaves, and even iPhones with features like MagSafe. Therefore, be aware of these magnetic fields and avoid exposing your watch to them. That is crucial. Even a small pull in one direction can affect the accuracy of the watch's small balance assembly, which consists of multiple metal parts. For example, laying an automatic watch on the back of an iPhone may not be the best idea, considering the presence of magnets on the phone. Number 4. Watch owners also often overuse the screw-down crowns of their watches. Screw-down crowns are an important consideration for those looking for a water-resistant watch. While they provide a better seal than non-screw-down crowns, they require careful handling to avoid damaging the delicate threading. The threading can be easily stripped if it is not screwed in correctly, and over-tightening can also cause issues with the seal. This is why it's important to be mindful of how you handle your watch's screw-down crown. Another factor to consider with screw-down crowns is their aging over time. The threading on a screw-down crown can wear down with use, which can affect its effectiveness over time. This is particularly noticeable in vintage watches, where the threading may not be as smooth as it was in its original condition. While screw-down crowns can provide an extra layer of protection against water damage, it's important not to overuse them unnecessarily. Constantly screwing and unscrewing the crown can put unnecessary wear and tear on the threading, and it may cause it to degrade more quickly over time. It's important to only use a screw-down crown when necessary, and to handle it with care to ensure its longevity and effectiveness in keeping your watch water resistant. Number 5. Watch owners usually do not think through where to store their watches. Proper storage is a crucial step and factor to consider when it comes to improving your watch's longevity. It's important to protect your timepieces from changing conditions that could damage them, such as humidity, moisture, and excessive light. One of the most significant risks is moisture, which can cause damage to the dial or central case of your watch. Therefore, it's essential to avoid exposing your watches to steam and water and keep them in a stable environment. Dust and debris can also affect your watch's condition, so it's best to store them in a clean and a safe area. Investing in a fancy watch box and accessory is not really necessary, but having a good storage solution is important to maintain a consistent environment for your watches. Storing your watches in a static environment with a constant temperature and moisture level can help to protect them from damage. While watch winders and other accessories can be useful, they're not necessary unless you have a complicated watch or prefer not to set it every day. Ultimately, proper storage practices can help to preserve the condition and longevity of your watch collection, so it's worth taking the time to implement them. Finally, number 6. Commonly, watches are wound and set on the owner's wrist. To ensure that your watch stays in good condition and lasts for a long time, it's important to avoid certain practices that can damage it. One such practice is winding or setting your watch while it's on your wrist, which can cause harm to the crown stem. The crown stem is a small and delicate piece of metal, and if it's pulled out incorrectly while the watch is on your wrist, it can bend and affect its ability to activate the keyless works, which is crucial for setting the time and winding the watch. Therefore, it's best to avoid pulling the crown stem while the watch is on your wrist and instead take it off before winding or setting it. Additionally, it's essential to avoid overwinding the watch. Overwinding occurs when you continue to wind the watch even if you feel resistance or tension. This can cause damage to the watch's internal mechanisms and shorten its lifespan. To prevent overwinding, it's important to stop winding the watch as soon as you feel resistance or tension. By avoiding these practices and handling your watch with care, you can ensure that it stays in excellent condition and lasts for many years to come. Which of these things have you done yourself? Share it with us in the comments below and tell us the misfortune that your watch had to go through. We look forward to reading your story. Want to hear more about watches? Hit that subscribe button below to support the Steady Ticker channel and click the notification bell to instantly know about our new videos on luxury watches. See you in the next one.